Well, good afternoon and thanks for watching THV 11 News at noon. I'm Amanda Jaeger and for Michael Aaron. I'm here with meteorologist Scott Covert. And Scott, we had a really foggy start to the day. So much, in fact, not only was it hard to drive, but several flights in and out of Little Rock have been delayed due to weather. But that's the least of our worries right now. Other weather concerns, including a tornado watch, likely in effect here within minutes.
You're exactly right. The National Weather Service, they're fine-tuning exactly which counties are going to be placed under a tornado watch. I'll tell you, it's going to be in south and southeastern Arkansas. It is going to be in effect until 7 o'clock this evening. Let me show you exactly where we anticipate that watch. It's going to be issued here in the next few minutes, so by the end of this newscast, we'll more than likely be able to give you an idea. Nothing severe here at the moment. Heavy rain, some flash flooding ongoing in the Little Rock Metro. In that area of concern, southeast Arkansas, not seeing a lot right now, but the window continues from now until about 3-4 o'clock this afternoon, with that watch set to expire probably around 7 o'clock. It's pretty calm there right now. In the Metro, though, quite a bit of heavy downpours, frequent lightning and thunder. We did have some flash flooding ongoing, probably going to be the case as we've already seen 1 to 2 inches of rain in many locations in the Little Rock area, with an additional 1 to 2 certainly possible. The severe weather outlook for today is primarily the southern half of the state, especially highest in southeast Arkansas, where you see that orange color. Well, that's a medium risk, or a level 3 out of 5. It's also that same area where we would expect the highest potential to see a tornado. We'll see those temperatures stay pretty much where they're at now, maybe warming up a few more degrees into those low 60s. I expect a south wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. It's still foggy out there. There's a lot of moisture in the air. We'll take a look at today's severe weather risk and the next one, which arrives New Year's Eve.
And it is important that you stay weather aware, even when we're not on the air. And you can do that by downloading the free THV 11 app. There you can find the latest forecast and breaking weather alerts in your area right at your fingertips. There's also interactive radar, so you can track the rain and storms near you. It's free in the App Store and Google Play. COVID cases brought on by the Omicron surge are reaching record levels this week. Deborah Alfarone has more on the troubling trend we're seeing across the country.
The U.S. is seeing a surge of new COVID cases as the country prepares for New Year's celebrations. The CDC reported yesterday hit an all-time high for the U.S. with more than 400,000 new cases. But as cases spike, the CDC is defending its decision to reduce quarantine from 10 days to 5 for asymptomatic COVID patients.
About 85 to 90% of viral transmission happens in those first 5 days, which is why we really want people to stay home during that period of time and then mask for the rest of the time to capture that last 10 to 15%.
While the White House has promised 500 million at-home COVID tests for free next month, there are some new questions about the effectiveness of the quick result antigen tests. The FDA is warning that the antigen test may be less capable of detecting the Omicron variant, which could lead to false negatives. That's part of the reason why the CDC says a negative test is not required before coming out of isolation.
We don't know how this antigen performs with regard to predicting transmissibility towards the end of your period of infection.
The good news is the PCR test used at most testing sites is very reliable and can detect even tiny amounts of the virus. The bad news, lines are still long at most testing sites. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
Here in Arkansas, we're starting to see the beginning of the upward trend the rest of the U.S. is now seeing. 2,414 new cases were reported yesterday. That is the highest one-day jump we've seen since September. Active cases in the state are less than 300 away from topping 12,000 again. And our hospitalizations made a significant jump as well. 570 people are now battling the virus from a hospital bed. That's 51 more than Monday's total. And 16 more deaths have been added to the state's tally, which now sits just below 9,100. If you want to take a closer look at those numbers, how the state is dealing with the Omicron variant, or learn more about the CDC's new quarantine guidelines, just text the word FACTS to 501-376-1111. New at noon, a Missouri boarding school doctor accused of several child sex crimes has been taken into custody in Arkansas. According to the Kansas City Star, 57-year-old David Smock was captured Tuesday night in Harrison. The longtime physician for Agape Boarding School, a Christian school that remains under scrutiny after 5 staffers were charged in September with assaulting students, was charged with several crimes last Thursday, but he's been on the run for several days. Stay with THV11 and THV11.com for the very latest on that story. Former Senate Majority Leader Reid has died following a battle with pancreatic cancer. The 82-year-old amateur boxer turned statesman spent more than 3 decades in Congress. He was elected to the U.S. House in 1982, rising to the heights of power, serving as Senate Majority Leader in 2007. Over his career, Reid was part of dozens of Democratic victories, including pushing through a sweeping economic stimulus after the Great Recession and passing the Affordable Care Act, which is described as his favorite but hardest fight in the Senate. And Reid's passing isn't the only news catching people off guard this week. John Madden, one of pro football's most important and recognizable figures of the last 50 years, died yesterday. He was 85. Michael George has more on his legendary career.
John Madden explained the complexities of pro football to millions of people who knew little about it.
We call it just BGD, just big guy defense, that's all.
Madden became a household name in the broadcast booth for CBS Sports. He teamed with Pat Summerall to form one of the most celebrated announcing teams of all time.
You know, he just has that ability, Pat, whatever it is, to win football games.
In total, Madden spent 30 years in broadcasting with 4 different networks, working 11 Super Bowls and winning 16 Emmy Awards.
Like, this is a father bucket, this is a mother bucket, and since the last game, they had a baby bucket.
Madden coached the Oakland Raiders for 10 seasons before he became a broadcaster. He won more than 100 games, 7 division titles, and 1 Lombardi Trophy in Super Bowl 11.
The Raiders have won. They are the world champs.
As a coach and broadcaster, Madden famously hated to fly. He used the Madden Cruiser to travel to games, which made him even more popular.
More than anything is he was a man of the people.
Younger fans know him from Madden NFL. The video game series sold more than 130 million copies. It's all part of the Madden legacy that made him one of the most memorable football figures of all time. Michael George, CBS News, New York.